You're listening to Book Banter with Dianne Burckhardt, your book talk podcast. Join me every Wednesday for real conversations with authors and publishing insiders, where you get to connect with the humans behind the books you love. Let's get on with our show today. Well, hello, my happy people. Today is June 3rd, 2026, and I am having such a wonderful start to my summer, and I hope you are too. And if not, I think things will definitely turn around right now, because today's episode is a really interesting conversation with an author whose career has moved through both nonfiction and fiction writing, before moving into emotionally rich fiction filled with strong female characters, resilience, and redemption. She spent years writing and co-authoring business books while helping entrepreneurs and companies grow through branding, visibility, lead generation, and marketing strategy. She is really fascinating and has so many projects going on all the time. You're going to be impressed. We talk about not only her writing journey, the importance of authenticity in both business and fiction, and why it's important for her to create stories with strong female characters. But that's enough blather from me for the moment. Let's not waste any more time and get right to today's interview. Please welcome to Book Banter with Dianne Burckhardt, Kae Wagner. Let's go ahead and tell all of our listeners who you are and what you do.
Will do. Thank you so much for having me, Dianne. I'm Kae Wagner, and I am an author and also the founder of the Bold Authors Network, in which I have really created a community of authors coming together, supporting authors, collaborating, being ARC readers for each other, read and review, partners, that kind of thing. When I switched from nonfiction to fiction, my series, the first series, the Frankie Girl series, did well, continues to do well. And I started having authors come to me. Now, I come from a marketing background, Dianne, so marketing and books, I took to that part of marketing, not just the writing and publishing, but the marketing part of it as well. And so I started having a lot of authors come to me, asking me questions, asking for help. And I saw that there was a gap in the marketplace for authors who just really were lost when it came to marketing. And, with the onslaught of technology, and even now 2 years later, like massive changes with AI, right? Mm-hmm. And authors who were saying, I wrote this book. I did not write this book or this series to be a marketer, and I hate it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, here's the thing. It's your job. Yeah. And you're responsible for it, even if you have a publisher. And I had been a nonfiction writer before that and had 2 books that were with publishers, and it still ended up the same way. Ultimately, I was responsible for the marketing. And so I started working with these authors, and then I started a group because I like group work and I like community. And I started the Bold Authors Network. And we meet every Monday in what I call promo hour. And so we focus on the marketing challenges, opportunities, wins, losses. I bring in experts, and it's a way for authors to kind of marinate in the whole marketing world and understand that this is indeed their job. They don't need to hate it, and eventually they may in fact love it.
That's one thing, whenever I was going through all of your social media, because before I do an interview, I always stalk people online to see if I can get as much information as possible. And as I was going through your stuff, oh my God, you are just involved in so many things. If we actually talked about all of your projects, we would be here all day.
Yes, we would.
I mean, besides your fiction writing and your nonfiction writing and your leadership group and all of these things that you've got going on, you also have a family and you have grandchildren and you have vacations that you take. You like to travel.
I do.
How on earth do you manage your time? Because that has got to be one of the hardest things when you have so many different projects that you're working on and still want to have a life.
Yes. Well, it is all part of my life. So part of it is, when you have a passion for what you do, and you get into the flow of work, time ceases.
Mm-hmm.
And I also actually believe deeply that when you are in the flow state, that you are actually in a regenerative state.
Mm-hmm.
And so while for some people all of that might be draining, for me it is regenerative. It's energizing. And so I operate in two states of energy. And this is really important because understanding which state you're in makes a big difference. So there's the creative energy state and the production energy state. And when I am in the creative energy state, which is when I'm writing, when I'm in the series, when I'm working with a collaborative writer, that is the energy flow that feeds me and that re-energizes me. When I'm in a production state, and this is why it's important for me to note the difference, production state is like, okay, you have a job, you have a to-do list. This is production. You're going to sit down, you're going to get the work done, and you're just going to move through it without question, without fighting any of it, without resistance. You're in production state and you're a machine and you're making things happen. And so then it's like the machine is clicking along, right? Doing things, check this, check that, got that done, did this, batch that, do that, produce this, post this, do that. And there's great reward in that, and there's a lot of satisfaction in it, but it's not the same as the flow state. But when I learned to say, okay, I'm in the production energy state, then I didn't fight it. I didn't get exhausted by it. I didn't get drained. And it was just kind of like, when you're deep in thought about something and you find yourself also doing something and all of a sudden you have the thing done and then you're like, oh, gosh, I was doing something and thinking about something like at the same time.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah, so you get that, right? You know what that's like. And that preserves energy. And so all of those things do not drain me. Now, do I get exhausted sometimes? Yeah. I know what to watch for. I know what triggers that. Actually, travel, the leaving and the coming back are always a little draining for me. But I know how to rebound. So I think it's knowing what works for you and knowing those energy states and navigating it and saying, okay, I'm in a flow state. So I know this is going to be regenerative. I know I'm going to get a certain amount of words written. I'm going to get a certain amount of the book done, and trusting that whatever energy state I'm in. The other thing that's been helpful for me for years and years is to look at all this multitude of projects. Now the multitude of projects that I have fly in the face of focus on the surface, right? Everybody says one thing, the one thing. Well, I guess I would say I'm more of a Renaissance person, because one thing feeds the other thing, feeds the other thing. And I look at it like I have a horse race and I have like 5 horses in the race, right? So at different times I advance one horse and then that horse might hang out for a while, and then I advance the other horse and then that horse might hang out for a while. And sometimes I have to put a horse out to pasture. And so I look at it more as like, okay, which one needs to move forward now? And which one have I moved forward enough that it can take a pause? And that's been helpful for me too, to adopt that perspective.
And, and I'm a very visual person, so having that imagery in my head actually makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Since you had such a great success with your business books and doing all of your nonfiction work, what prompted you to switch to fiction?
That's an interesting thing, because for me, it was an identity shift. I never planned on writing fiction. I've been a writer all my life. Literally, I won a writing award when I was 13. And I was like, wow, this writing thing, it could be something, Like I had this big award and then I got published in high school and I'm like, yeah, this could be really something. But it was always on the nonfiction side, and it was always more about business, because I love the business of business. I love how businesses operate. And so I was interested in leadership development and business marketing. And so my initial nonfiction books were on marketing and branding.
Mm-hmm.
And those two books made millions for me, not in terms of the books that I sold, but in terms of the doors that I got into, because I'd founded and was running a marketing agency at that time. And so the books were the ticket in the door. And the books also got me on national stages. So I was getting in front of a lot of people who were my perfect audience. And, my perfect audience at that time, readers would be CEOs, senior vice presidents of marketing, sales. And I would get calls like 3 weeks later, and I'd get a VP of sales who said, my CEO saw you speak, and he said, we should call you and work with you. And so then we would go. I saw the power of what was happening with nonfiction when you were intentional with a specific audience. But along the way, I had this story that I played with in my head for like 7 years. And during that time, I wrote another nonfiction book, leadership book called Leadership Glue. And then I was like, I think I better write this story. I think this piece of nonfiction, this story I need to write. And it became a commitment that I made because there is a character in this story that represents my father. And there was a story from my childhood that involved my father that I wanted to tell. And so I made a commitment to do that, to honor him in that way. And then that one book, the story became much bigger than that one book and turned into a series of 5 books. And writing fiction became an exercise of so much joy and satisfaction for me that I was like, wow, this is like a whole new world. And I want to continue to do that. So I'm continuing to write fiction. And I have 2 other series after the first one that are getting off the ground. And at the same time, because of the Bold Authors Network, I had opportunities to co-write with other business people. One of the books is titled 10 Things I Learned from the Billionaire. Mm-hmm. The other one is Crash and Burn, with burn / through, and then crash and burn, learn. That's a story of a CEO who was on an acquisition spree and crashed. So it's kind of interesting to be writing fiction and then co-writing nonfiction at the same time. Right now, I'm in a series of sweet romance, and I'm really enjoying it because the other books are a little heavier, modern fiction, coming of age, trauma kind of stuff. So the sweet romance is like a little appetizer, a little bite. It's a whole lot lighter, and I'm just having fun with them right now.
One thing I had also seen on your Facebook page, I believe it was, is you were talking with somebody on their podcast about branding.
Yes.
That if you don't brand yourself, then you will get branded from outside forces.
Correct.
How important do you think it is for authors, even like indie authors, to control their own branding?
I think it's very important for authors to be cognizant of what branding actually is. And even more important today because of AI, because AI is leading the search now. AI is curating and collecting and creating a dossier on every person, on every author. Mm-hmm. And so we are not only writing and posting and marketing for the humans, we are doing that for AI as well. And anyone who is an author should be tracking on through a Google search what AI is pulling for them. So it's really important that you are congruent with your branding. And by congruency, I mean what you say and the images that you use and your tone and voice turns up in the same manner in one place as it does in another, as it does in another. Mm-hmm. And this is critical because AI will look at everything that you have put out there. AI will pick up and it will look at it and say, oh, is that Kae Wagner the same Kae Wagner as this one over here? And the one that showed up in the press release, is that the same one? And then the AI pulls all that together if it's congruent, if it looks like the same, and they build a dossier, they build a folder on you, and you want that folder to just expand and expand and expand to the point where AI begins to recommend you in searches. And not only in searches on like Google AI, right? Because, Google's doing their big push right now. But also when people are searching in ChatGPT or Claude, you should be showing up. And if you are branding with repetition, frequency, and congruency, AI will sell for you. That's how important it is.
I got a piece of advice from an author I interviewed probably like 4 years ago. Her name is Val Collins, and she and I were talking about SEO. It's like we were both working on our websites and discussing about how important it was. And she had taken a class in SEO, and she said the only thing that she remembered from that class was that whenever you name something like your website, your Facebook, your Instagram, whatever it is, keep the name the same.
Yes.
If you have Burckhardt Books on your website, it should be Burckhardt Books on your Facebook. It should be Burckhardt Books on Instagram. And at that time, mine was not like that. It was a little bit different on each one. I went through and changed everything to the same thing. And my engagement jumped so fast in a few days. It was incredible.
Yes, that's the power of branding, is congruency. And the thing about branding and congruency and doing the same thing over and over and over again, as creatives, we get bored with the same thing over and over and over again, right? But that's the thing that works, is repetition, frequency, congruency. Make it the same, extend it, make it the same, extend it, make it the same. So like with the Bold Authors Network, everything I do now is the Bold Authors Network X, right? The Bold Authors Promo Hour, the Bold Authors Network Power Hour, the Bold Authors Book Agency, so when you start with a name, and nomenclature and naming is critical, not only for books, but a title can sink a book if it's not a good title. That's how valuable naming a book is. And it's the same thing, like you're saying, if you have inconsistencies, not only will the humans be confused, but AI will say, I don't think this is the same person, so we're not going to give them a bigger digital footprint. And it's the job of the author to expand your digital footprint through repetition, frequency, and congruency.
I have noticed through a lot of your things that there is a bit of a repetition. I've noticed the recurring cafe and coffee theme running through a lot of your branding. Your websites, your reader community was it coffee with Kae and Book Lovers Cafe?
Right.
And now your new book is called Brewing Love.
Yes.
I love how you just carry this theme through so many of the things you do. Do you have a serious thing for coffee?
Yes, I do. I do. I drink way too much coffee, actually.
I think that's a requirement to be a writer.
Yes, I think so. I do. I love a good cup of coffee, although I drink coffee all day long, but I drink decaf. And, along the way, the decaf people got better at doing their job and making decaf robust, but not caffeinated. So, yeah. So Brewing Love it's interesting because the feedback that I get from my pre-readers are part of what they really love about the book is the whole coffee theme. And I actually put a glossary in the book because of all the terms and all of the references to coffee that I make that a lot of people may not be familiar with. So people are like, I love the glossary. That was so cool. I learned things about coffee. And so it's just kind of a subtext that runs throughout the book.
This seems like the perfect time for you to go ahead and give us the synopsis of Brewing Love.
Brewing Love is book 1 in the series called Building Dreams. Building Dreams is a series about women who are in their late 20s, early 30s, who own their own businesses in the city of Philadelphia. And they are all very, very busy, very occupied with building their businesses. Their businesses are based on their passions. And so they may have had a few relationships, but they're not in a relationship when the book starts. They're busy building their dream business. And of course, in walks the guy who's going to disrupt all of that. And so they're not so happy to see him. But in Brewing Love, Allison Cook is an event planner, and she works with nonprofits. And so she is preparing for a major event, a major gala for a nonprofit that helps coffee farmers in Latin America who are exploited by the corporate coffee companies. And so this is the biggest event in her career, in her business so far. And she wants to make it a signature event. And she wants to make it a gala that is absolutely memorable. And so she has ideas about this, and she wants to focus on all things coffee and bring in the story of the coffee farmers, and everything is going to be related to coffee. And so, of course, it may get a little more expensive. So when the new chairman of the board walks into her test kitchen and questions her position about what she's doing and the cost of it, they start to have a little heated discussion about it. And the sparks are flying, but they're both not really aware of that because they're focused on being right about whether this is a spreadsheet problem or a donor engagement issue. And so the story goes from there.
One of the things that really stood out about this story to me is that while it's absolutely a romance, there seems to be strong themes involving like business and branding, leadership, and balancing ambition with relationships. It almost feels like the ideas from your nonfiction and leadership work just naturally found their way into the foundation of this story. Was that intentional or just sort of happened?
Well, it's intentional, but frankly, I can't stop it. Number one, I will always write about strong women because I honor strong women. I honor women who, for whatever reason, were given a vision and a mission and are committed to fulfilling it. And I want them to win. And I want them to overcome not only what's happened in their own situation, but overcome what some of societal rules and old ways of thinking are. And one of the best ways to do that is through owning their own business, and if not owning their own business, being strong leaders in the corporate world or in someone else's business. Mm-hmm. And so for me, work has several aspects that I honor. One is I think there's a sacredness to work, and especially if you're doing the work that brings you deep meaning and that you're making an impact in people's lives. And that could be anything. We think there are certain kinds of jobs that are, the kind that impact people. But in reality, if we are intentional in our mission and our vision, we will impact people. We have so many opportunities to do that. We have opportunities to do that through our work, through creativity, through books, through just the rubbing of elbows of people and being the kind of authentic person that opens the doors for conversation, of authenticity and empowerment, and the ability for people to really live out what they're sent here to do, right? Mm-hmm. And that can be anything. That can be literally anything. And there is no limit to the place or the job that you can have where you can be a person of impact. So that's really important to me. The other thing is I love the business of business. So I just love, kind of the opportunities and availabilities that business offers. And then because I like strong women, I like that crossover, that teaming up of strong women in business.
I think that sounds fantastic. That is a great combination. I'm very fond of strong female characters.
Yeah, me too.
So now seems like the perfect time to do our 5 quick questions that never turn out to be quick, but I hold out eternal hope that it will happen one day. Are you ready?
I'm ready. How fast do you want it to be?
Well, honestly, it never ends up being fast.
Okay.
And for you, it's like you have so many varied interests. A lot of times I like to do a theme, but I just decided to go very random with you today.
Okay.
So question 1. I know that you enjoy golf and have actually gone to Scotland to play. Where was
Yes.
the best game of golf you have played?
The best game of golf that I've played was in Pennsylvania at a course called Tanglewood Golf Course, and I shot an 82.
What was the par?
What was the par?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think it might be 72 there.
Wow.
70 maybe. I don't know. I don't have a card here. So that's an interesting question. I don't know. I love the game of golf. I'm an okay player. I just love to play.
I can drive. I cannot do anything else. That's it.
Well, the drive is like, that's what sets the tone for the hole.
Yeah, but I have no control after that moment. I can hit hard, but I cannot hit accurately.
Yeah. So Diane, I want to tell you an interesting thing about golf and books, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the first series that I wrote, the Frankie Girl series,
Uh-huh.
Frankie Girl gets a second chance at love. And the guy that she gets a second chance at love with, his name is Alex Mulligan.
Ah, okay.
So for those of you who are non-golfers, a mulligan in golf is a second chance to hit the ball. Now, here's the funny thing. A lot of my golfing friends didn't even pick up on the name Mulligan.
Oh, wow.
I was like, and my husband, who golfs literally every day, I said, did you get the Alex Mulligan thing? And he's like, what do you mean, did I get it? I'm like, Mulligan. He's like, yeah. I'm like, Mulligan in golf.
That is hilarious.
So
See,
I
but
like to put in those little like Easter egg things,
I think I catch those kinds of things because I like doing that in my books too. My first book series, I have a really hard time remembering people's names. So my first book series, my friends let me use their names for my characters. But I decided like the 3rd or 4th book in, since I was putting names of all my friends in there, I wanted to put a name for the people reading the book.
Oh, nice.
So the waitress in the saloon is Paige Turner.
That's cool. That's very clever. Very clever. Yeah. Naming is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
I love naming.
Question 2. What kind of activities actually go on at Grammy's summer camp?
Grammy's summer camp is coming up. It's coming up in about a month. Yeah.
Do you have any big activities planned?
Well, we always have our favorites that we do, and then we add on things. So we always have a certain set of restaurants that we love to go to. Make sure we get those done. We are in Sarasota, Florida, so we like to go on a boat ride.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the beach. We go to a planetarium.
Oh, nice.
This year, I want to take them to the elephant sanctuary, which is about an hour away from us. So the elephants that were in the circus are now all in the sanctuary. And so they're well taken care of. As a matter of fact, I had a cousin who came and visited us, and he and his wife had made arrangements to go to the elephant sanctuary and do a spa day.
Oh, nice.
They got to do the nails on the elephant's feet.
Oh,
The toenails.
that's so cool.
And give them a massage. So I don't know that we'll get to do the spa treatment, but I'm going to take the kids. So my kids love to drive the golf cart. So we do that. We play pickleball, play in the pool. They like to play Roblox, which is an online game. So every night, Diane, this is very important for Grammy to do. Every night before we go to bed, we do a gratitude.
Nice.
And we do accounting. So my grandkids have jobs while they're here, and they get paid for those jobs. And so every night, every evening before they go to bed, we take an account for what was done and what the value of that is. And then at the end of each week, they get a paycheck, i.e. cash.
Mm-hmm.
And that's theirs to do with what they want to do.
Wow, Grammy summer camp sounds better than the ones I went to as a kid.
Well, Grammy can't help but put in some lessons along the way.
Yeah, but that's important. It all kind of balances.
Yeah, it does. And they're old enough that these are things that are not just interesting for them, but will actually impact in their perspective on value of money, value of time, value of effort. And then gratitude to me is like, we all need to have a heart of gratitude.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, question 3. What did you actually do after seeing Saturday Night at the Trailer Park featured on the big screen in Times Square?
What did I actually do? Well, my sister and I went up, and then we went to the Hard Rock Cafe and had lunch.
That sounds good. That's one of the things that we happen to do every time we go somewhere. We always hit up Hard Rock Cafe everywhere.
Yeah, that wasn't in the plan, but it's right on the edge of Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have a lot of songwriting and musician kind of memorabilia and stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of fun. I mean, we had a great time. We walked around and then we went back to Pennsylvania.
And I think they're the one that has this great strawberry basil lemonade.
Oh, I wish I would have known that.
I'm pretty sure that it's Hard Rock Cafe that has it. It is like my favorite thing to get when we go there.
Yes, that sounds delicious.
Speaking of delicious things, question 4. I know you're rather fond of ice cream. What is your favorite flavor and where is your favorite place to get it?
Well, I mean, this is really boring, but I like vanilla the best. And I like it really creamy.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite ice cream, well, it does change from time to time, but there is a place in Lancaster County called Fox Meadow, and they have probably the best ice cream. It is so creamy, and it always tastes like it was just made.
And I love that you have vanilla as your favorite. That is absolutely my favorite too.
Is it?
And I love especially like vanilla bean, the one you can actually see the little bits in there. Oh, that is so good.
Yes. I love that too. Yes. Yep.
Now your last question. We are asking everyone this season the same question because we're making a list to go in our year-end book buying guide in November for holiday shopping in Book Banter magazine. The question is, what book to movie adaptation do you think is the best that you have seen so far?
So one of my favorite books of all times is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir.
Mm-hmm.
And it just recently released as a movie. So it's space fiction. One of the characters in there is Rocky. And Rocky is not human, but he has many human characteristics. And so I was so excited to see that movie because I absolutely love that book. And seeing their version, the filmmaker's version of Rocky, was a long anticipated thing for me. And it was on screen. He was different than I envisioned him, which is always true, right? Like we see things differently on screen than what we envision when we're reading the book.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't what I expected, but I grew to love him in the movie. And so I would say that was an excellent adaptation.
And I love that you said that one because I didn't even realize that was a book. So now I need to go find that book.
Yes, find the book. Find the book. So here's an interesting thing, Diane. When I wrote Frankie Girl, the first series, I wrote that to be on screen and I wrote it in scenes. So in my role as the leader of the Bold Authors Network, my job, my love, what I love to do is to bring to the authors in the Bold Authors Network opportunities for them to expand the work of their books, the content of their books. And so I brought to the Bold Authors Network a professional screenwriter And we did a 4-week course on adapting your book from book to screen.
Oh, nice.
Yes, he's a professional screenwriter. He taught us about log lines, pitch decks, screenwriting, how to find and approach producers. And so we had lots of conversations about the commercial viability of adapting your book or screen or series to screen. And we all learned so much. And then what we offered is a private one-to-one meeting with the screenwriter. Our authors that were in that course are now going through that process. But what it does when you think about taking your novel from book to screen, and also nonfiction as well, because of documentaries in different formats, I think there aren't many writers who haven't thought about that.
Oh, yeah.
With the proliferation of content demand from Netflix and all the streaming services, the opportunities actually have increased hugely to be able to take your book from book to screen. And that is my goal. I've been very clear about that from the very beginning when I first started writing it.
That's amazing. I know I've spoken to so many authors that that's the thing that they say, that whenever they wrote this, they were imagining it on, TV for streaming or on the big screen for a movie, that they had that in mind when they were writing it. But then it's like they don't do anything to actually make that happen.
Yeah, you have to take action because nobody's just going to walk up and give it to you.
So now why don't you remind our listeners who you are and where they can find your work?
Yes. So Kae Wagner, spelled Kae, Kae Wagner, Wagner. All of my books are on Amazon. I have a series called the Frankie Girl series, a series, The Back Gate and Beyond, and a series called Building Dreams. Building Dreams are standalone books. Beyond the Back Gate and Beyond are standalone books. Frankie Girl is a sequential series. And so you want to start, in my world, in the author world, you want to start with Saturday Night at the Trailer Park. That is the signature book that gets you into the series and into the world of writing that I do. You can find the Bold Authors Network at www.boldauthors.network.com. You can sign up there to receive notifications for Promo Hour, which is a free hour that we do every Monday from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. We welcome all authors, all genres, published or not published, but writers who are intending to be authors. And we are focused on the marketing aspects of writing, of the writing, publishing, marketing trifecta.
And of course, as always, all of your information with live links to your websites will be in the description of today's podcast, so everyone can just click and go and find you and your work. Thank you so much for being here with me today. This has been absolutely fascinating. I seriously have no idea how you managed to keep up with everything that you've got going on, but it is going to be truly fascinating to watch where you go next.
Thank you, Dianne. It's been a pleasure to be with you. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
So there you have it, folks. That was my conversation with the amazing businesswoman, entrepreneur, and author, Kae Wagner. If you're looking for a nice, cozy summer read, be sure to check out Kae Wagner's new Brewing Love, a sweet romance available everywhere books are sold. And don't forget to support your local indie bookstores. If they don't currently have the book in stock, ask them to order it for you. It may take a little extra time to get it, but you'll be supporting indie bookstores at the same time, and that is good for all of us. So be sure to check out all of Kae's social media and follow her for more information on her numerous business projects, author resources, and upcoming books. And if you enjoy romance stories, don't forget that here at Burckhardt Books, we also have a brand new paranormal romance series coming later this year from D.S. Stevens called the Haunted Heart series. Book 1, The Langston Watch Hotel, will be released later this year. If you would like to read the first 2 chapters at the Langston Watch Hotel, be sure to sign up for our newsletter at burckhartbooks.com/subscribe. You can find a link in the description of today's podcast to make that easy. The first chapter of Langston Watch Hotel has already gone out today in our newsletter for our subscribers. It is available on a hidden web page with a password to access and preview the content. Chapter 2 will be coming out in next week's newsletter. However, if you're late to the party, both chapters will remain available together on the same page so readers can experience the beginning of the story and meet many of the main characters who will be finding love in haunted locations throughout the 7-book series. And if you enjoy paranormal stories and ghost hunting shows, all of the Haunted Heart books are inspired by real ghost hunting adventures the author went on when she was in college. If you follow Book Banter Productions on Facebook, don't forget to check out our weekly Spectre Sundays posts, where we are sharing behind-the-scenes information about the book production, the characters, haunted locations, the real investigations behind the stories, and the paranormal experiences that actually inspired this series. Now, next week on Book Banter with Dianne Burckhardt, I will be rejoined by thriller author Chad Boudreau. I first interviewed him in Season 4, Episode 193, if you would like to check that out before his interview next week. This time around, we spoke about how he draws from his real-world experience working in national security and counterterrorism. Chad writes high-stakes stories filled with suspense, organized crime, corruption, and political intrigue. We'll be talking about his newest novel, Mob Justice, and the real-life experience he brings into his fiction. Well, I think that is more than enough for today, folks, so you know what time it is. It is time for you all to go forth and be really happy that summer is finally here. Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to subscribe to Book Banter with Dianne Burckhardt on your favorite podcast streaming service. Because if you love books like we do, you do not want to miss a single episode of this podcast.